Addiction is usually considered a problem, something we try to avoid and strive to overcome. We don't usually think of addiction as an opportunity and definitely don't consider it a gift. But that's the central idea in the new book, What Addicts Know. This is Christopher Kennedy Lawford's fourth book about addiction. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Good to be back.
You know, I was thinking while I was reading this today about our newly elected mayor, Marty Walsh, who was an alcoholic as a young man, and he talks so, just emotionally about how recovery has changed his life. And look, he's the mayor of the city.
It's amazing.
And all the things he's learned from it and that he applies in his life now.
We need more people like him that are public about their recovery, that are testaments to the power of recovery, to the transformational wonder of recovery. That's what Addicts Know is all about. I mean, I grew up in a family where President Kennedy was sick a lot and overcame a lot of things. And he used to read a lot of books. People said he got his gravitas from his reading. And he always said to us growing up, he loved biographies and autobiographies. He says, anybody that achieves something great in this world has overcome something equally great. And we have 23 million Americans who are in active recovery, who have overcome one of the most difficult brain illnesses to overcome, who are leading unbelievable lives and have a lot to give the world, yet they're marginalized, they're stigmatized, and they're discriminated against. There are 13,000 laws on the books across the country that discriminate against people in recovery, even though this is a brain illness. And this has to stop.
But when I was reading the book again, I found myself saying, I've got that one, I've got that one, I've got that. I mean, everybody has at least three of those. You cover the whole gamut, from eating disorders to sexual disorders to, everything. And are all of them brain disorders?
Well, addiction is, whether it's chemical or behavioral, is pretty much the same thing. They affect the same neurotransmitters in the brain. And so, and the data at this point says 50% of the people that have this illness have it because of their genetics. The rest of it is environmental, and there's a complex interplay between environment and genetics. Just to give you an idea of how complicated this is, there's one gene that determines whether you're lactose intolerant. There's 23 genes we've identified so far that determines how your body deals with alcohol. Oh. So this is the thing. But Recover to Live, which is also out today, was my last book, which talks a lot about the science of addiction and a lot about the beginnings of recovery. What Addicts Know is really about the wonder of what you talked about, the new mayor of Boston, which is, this is a guy who came from a place where he very, very easily could have ended up nowhere. Or dead, jail's institution, or death were his options. And now he's the mayor of Boston. And there's a lot of people in the world that have stories like that. They're not public like he is. So good for him. And
you wrote about one of those, a friend of yours in the book, and talked about a guy you thought you were going to lose for life, and he showed up and he was fine again, and you ended up hiring him. But you say that there's things that Drew Pinsky, who does the foreword to your book, talks about all the richness of the lives of these people and what we can learn from them. Like what? Well,
I outline in What Addicts Know 10, lessons, really. And these are not new lessons. A lot of this stuff comes out of 12-step programs, which are salvations for a lot of people that have both chemical and behavioral addictions. The first one is to know yourself, to know who you are, because when you know who you are, you know why you're here. And that may sound sort of fluffy, but it's not really, because the exploration, at least on some level, to find out really who you are as a human being will inform your life and will give you clarity around a lot of the things that you do. Turning pain into growth is another one. Our society looks at pain and we go, to be avoided at all costs. I mean, our whole culture is based on avoiding pain, okay? What addicts know is that pain can be an enormous gift in terms of transforming your life. And it has been in mine. Everything that's amazing about my life comes out of a period of struggle.
I'll tell you what I have trouble with: forgiveness. That was a big part of your ones. They said, I can't cross that that revenge off my list quite yet.
Well, and I'll tell you how do you do it. I'll give you a little hint. You pray for the people that you're resentful against.
Okay.
And when you do that, now, if you can't do that, if you can't do it just out of goodness, in the Old Testament, they said if you pray for your enemies, you heap burning coals on them for eternity. So whatever you have to do because you will find within 30 days, and I guarantee this, that resentment will go away and you will be flooded with forgiveness.
I'm going to work on that. Christopher Lawford,
Good.
Thanks so much.